Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, and my friend, Season 3 of Dragon Ball FighterZ is now live. And with that said, this is your visual guide to the big changes of Dragon Ball FighterZ Season 3. Now, just so you know, we're not going to be going over every single change, as I already did that, and it's an almost 2-hour-long video for the patch notes. That'll be linked at the end of this video to be sure. But I'm just going to be going over some of the more significant changes in the game, in my opinion here. And first up, let's work our way down the lobby here. This is the offline lobby right now. We got someone new over here. Hey, who's this guy? So he'll take you to boot camp. And in boot camp, you get a lot of new fun things because we get proper tutorials now, straight up. So it'll be people that'll teach you a lot of the concepts of the game. Dragon Ball FighterZ tutorial is pretty weak, to be honest with you. Here we have Goku. This is the classic tutorial, so everything is over there. And everyone teaches you a bunch of aspects of the game, as you can see here. Also, we have Kefla over on the left. And she actually teaches you everything new that's about Season 3. So if you're looking forward for just understanding everything that's new about Season 3, she'll teach you straight up. Also, you can ask people to become your master. It says here they'll commentate on your battles. So hey, if you're looking forward to that, that is an option. Also, there is a new survival mode here. Joining a tournament of power, and it's basically kind of like a Royal Rumble, last person wins. Here is our beautiful new character select screen, in case you haven't seen it before. Kefla is over here, not unlocked yet, on PS4. I think she's on Switch already. But yeah, so now let's go into the game itself and show you some of the changes here. So first up here, before we get to some of the more bigger changes, let's just show a couple of nicks and knacks. So stand heavies and down heavies have been buffed across the board. They all used to do 850 damage, and now they do cool 1,000, so it's an extra 150. Now, it's not the biggest game changer, but sure, hey, it's welcome. Also, stand heavies that could be charged and held also get an additional damage bonus on top of what they used to get. So, a held stand H for Dragon Ball Super Broly now does 1,300, and that is nothing to sneeze at. Also, hey, your basic key charge. In case you are not aware, they now deflect basic projectiles, so you can just charge up and be immune. Now, a proper, bigger style projectile, not quite. You're not going to be able to be immune from that. You will get smacked, but hey, just so you know. Also, you can cancel it into a homing dash whenever you want. So, this gives basic key charge a lot more to work with than we had before. We also have the new limit break mechanic. So, if we have no characters left on our team here, and we'll just kill them in training mode here, we'll gain extra bar. So if we flip over, now we see we have 4 bars instead of 3, and we got this beautiful little icon in the top left. And in this, we do more damage. So normally, say a very basic string here, down heavy into LLL, right? So 2,760. And if we kill off that character, and here we go, we got our damage buff here. Now, same combo. Hey, 3,312. So we just do more damage across the board. And do keep in mind as well, the the limit break does stack with other damage buffs. So say we have the install for Broly up here, and we also got Sparking Blast, and all of a sudden, of course, going to do all the more damage yet. So it's just basically a little bit of a comeback factor, but it's not wildly more damage. It's 10%, and you get the extra bar. And in that, I think it's pretty cool and a neat addition to the game. And of course, hey, we have more assists to work with, right? So it's very easy if you are in training mode to switch to any assist you want. And you don't even have to like refresh. It just, they have it, and that's all there is to it, right? So each assist does a lot of different things. The B types are a lot more unique. The C types, they're sort of similar-ish, but they're all very strong. There's a lot of doubling up on classically strong assists. So like Dragon Ball Super Broly as our base here. He does the Eraser Blow as assist, which goes upwards in the air, meaning it's basically the only other real assist besides GT Goku that can control any kind of airspace. So hey, we now have another character that can do that kind of assist, right? And a lot of classically strong assists are doubled up in this way, where 1 or 2 other characters get something that emulates a classically strong assist, so you can pick different characters. And of course, everyone has wacky stuff. Like Ginyu can literally summon the Ginyu Force in its entirety as his B-type assist and just go from there. So yeah. We have the video, which will be linked at the end of this one, showcasing all 76 brand new assists. So if you want to see that one, check the link at the end of the video. So Dragon Rushes have been changed up. So the base Dragon Rush works the same way it always did, right? But you're now allowed to tick a Dragon Rush from a light attack. So you can literally like effectively special cancel your light right into a Dragon Rush. Meaning people really have to start paying attention and block strings. Now keep in mind it is stand lights. So if you do like light, like your auto combo, you'll just finish the auto combo. If you hit the button, it won't work. If you try to hit down light here, while it is a light, it won't work the same way here. It does have to be a standing light to cancel into a Dragon Rush. The implications of this are big. If you are bad at taking Dragon Rushes, I suggest you really start paying attention because this is a whole new age of the Dragon Rush, and it's going to be a massive factor going into Season 3. Another very large change is how snapbacks have changed. So if you get snap now, the default speed, as you can see, is lightning fast. It is way quicker than it used to be. Now you can hold back as well to delay your coming in. So you come basically at the old speed. And you can also hold it just a little bit. So you have basically fast timing, slow timing, and any timing you want in between. So if you did not like snapback mix-ups, well, hey, your prayers are answered basically. Because with the fact that you get 2 new base timings and a new modular timing in between, not to say there won't be snapback setups at all, but they're going to be a lot harder to pull off to be sure, and they're going to have to be a lot more clean. EX moves here only cost half a bar now. So it used to be they took a full bar, and no more, not the case. So some EX moves are definitely a lot more spammable, although the ones that are very spammable, just so you know if you haven't checked the patch notes, they have been toned down just a little bit because they know, they're aware, right? But generally it makes EX moves a lot more viable to use because for the most part, an EX wasn't worth the bar, right? You'd much rather keep the bar for a super or something like that. Now, it's definitely a lot more workable than it used to be, and a lot more realistic to use in a combo, or as an ender, or as a mid-part of your combo, anything you want to do, right? I think it's a very good change, and you should see a lot more EX moves coming now. Another change is to the vanish mechanic, as you can do quite a bit more. Specifically, on a vanish that connects and does the usual wall bounce kind of stuff here, you can now homing dash afterwards, like straight from it, as you can see here, or you can actually special cancel from it as well. Now, certain characters might want to special cancel more than others. It won't be as valuable for every single character, but the homing dash is pretty valuable. Also, in situations where you can get it here and then homing dash and just like say mash LLL, certain moves for certain characters have been keyed where if they are vanished from, and then you do a homing dash from the vanish, it will always cause a sliding knockdown, making it a lot more useful, right? Because certain characters like Dragon Ball Super Broly struggle a little bit with providing sliding knockdowns in a reasonable way. So it's definitely a big boon to him and for other characters. Now, let's move on to a lot of the character-specific stuff. And once again, this being the visual guide here, I'm going to be covering the bigger changes. So a lot of smaller stuff like hitbox changes or just like changing how like a move interacts in a certain way and like not a big deal. I'm not going to be covering that. I'm going to be covering what I consider to be some of the bigger changes. So not every character will necessarily get covered. If you want to see every single change, every single detail, once again, please check the end of the video. The complete full patch breakdown is there and you'll see every single change. But let's look at the big fun stuff for a lot of the characters. First up here for Super Saiyan Goku, the most significant change here is, of course, the down M. So the down M definitely feels a lot more weighty. It definitely does feel slower. However, the range, oh my lord, like the range is something else now. So if you were the kind of person that used it as a poke anyways, it's honestly better as a poke in my opinion. Yeah, it's a little slower, sure. But the range is just wild now. So I don't know. I like it. Maybe you fall on a different side of the fence here, because if you're giving me a move that's about the range and giving me more range, hey, I'm fine with it, right? But yes, that's the most significant change he had, and I know it's causing some debate here. But overall, other than that, he's still basically the same character. Like, if you like this character for what he offered, he still offers the world, right? Be it this change or not, like, look at that range. Jeez Louise, right? It's not the deciding factor of the character, right? He's still a very good character, and I'm sure he'll be with us for a very long time to come. For Piccolo, the biggest change to me is just basically his base assist. As it stands right now, yeah. So he shoots the usual homing ball, which he always did. Then he shoots the big slow ball, and the tracking it lasts a long time, right? So if you're a fan of like screen control style assists, this has gotten wildly better, and this is like one of the best screen control and assists in the game now, period, right? As for his other changes, like the armor starts up a little faster on his like teleport defensive moves and that, but to me that is the single biggest change, and probably one of the more deciding factors if you're going to put him on your team or not if you didn't already play Piccolo. So for Teen Gohan here, there was a little bit of a nerf to his recovery here after Stand Light. It's pretty significant before he's like able to move again. The recovery is big time, but hey, and stop some of the naughtiness of some of his Sparking Blast pressure. The big thing is this. So technically, EX Legs is nerfed. Technically. So it does less damage, your pro rate's higher, meaning you do less damage in a combo with it, and more recovery on block. But, so if we turn on our frame advantage here, and say we hit him with this, right? We're still +1 on block. It is still our turn on block. So if you were worried about it being useless or something, the biggest thing about it is just the fact that it is plus, right? That's what you're doing. That's 4 to begin with, and now it only costs half as much, right? So yeah, it got a little bit of a nerf, but the fact that it costs half as much, you're still plus on block. You can still get full combos if it connects, right? It's just eminently very useful, and being half off is kind of a big deal. So I think Teen Gohan made out like a bandit, honestly. So Frieza, certainly going to be one of the more popular picks coming into Season 3. So got a bunch of small little changes, you know, like down M's a little bit better. But the big deal here everyone's talking about is Golden Frieza, to be sure. Because Golden Frieza is a lot more noticeable now for a variety of reasons. First of which, hey, you can cancel it whenever you want, right? You don't want to do it right away, though, like I did. But, you know, there's situations where you know it's going to run out soon, so you might as well end it on your own terms versus it just, you know, going away and screwing you over, right? That's fantastic. Now, one of the, if not the biggest thing, is simply this. So, Golden Frieza, you know, it's always lasted a set duration, right? It goes away at the set duration. And you can do whatever you're going to do and all that kind of stuff, and it's all great. But, you know, it stops. But it doesn't have to now. So generally, you're usually going to be playing them last anyways. And if you are under a Sparking Blast, Golden Frieza cannot end. Period. And if you're the last character up, then Golden Frieza is going to have a very long-lasting Sparking Blast, to be sure. So going from that point onwards, you got a very, like up to almost 40 seconds, I think, long-lasting Golden Frieza. And if you couldn't beat the enemy in 40 seconds with Golden Frieza, well, I guess it was never meant to be, right? Between the Sparking Blast buff, between your Golden Frieza buff, between the new Limit Break buff, and just all the usual stuff Golden Frieza does, it's going to be an absolute terror, to be sure. Ginyu got some very fun changes, and I hope there's a lot more Ginyu players showing up. If you're not aware, a while back ago we did the numbers on the most played characters, and Ginyu is the single least played character in this game, and I hope he gets some more love from people, because hey, these buffs are pretty good. Like, yeah, a lot of stuff like some normals go further than they used to, and that's really good, actually, because range works out for them just great, and a couple of normals got buffed, but let's show you visually, because that's what this video is, some of the more cooler change. So, stuff like basic Ki Blast, right? Not anymore, baby. So, you could always, like, hold Ginyu's standing H, and now it is completely immune to basic projectiles while it's being held. Now, a proper beam or solid heavy fireball will knock Ginyu out of this, to be sure. So you're not going to be spinning through like a death ball or something like that. Just not quite in the cards, right? But it's a way for him to advance on screen if there's a lot of weak projectiles or a lot of Ki Blasts happening. Also, stand H on top of that is now a low. So if we set the enemy to block here, guard all, and so they're just going to stand block here. Hey, look at that. It is a low-hitting move. A stand heavy being a low is kind of unprecedented. So it's certainly unique, and now it makes it just a little more threatening in block strings. When is he going to go for the overhead? Because now he can threaten 2 lows here with down M and with stand H as well. Also, a lot of the stand S Ginyu force moves got a lot better. Not the least of which is Jace actually causes a ground bounce now. So it's going to have a lot more combo ability to work with, and potentially whole new combo routes will be possible, where he can call in Jace to his S and then get a little bit of a ground bounce. And I guess most importantly, because I'd be remiss not to mention this, is Ginyu has a new level 3 super. So Ginyu before his only level 3 was the body change. And what a beautiful pose right there, right? And it just, you know, there's situations you can get it, but not all the time, right? Conversely, you could hold the Milky Cannon for like 3 charges, but it's not quite as real as a real level 3. So him having a proper level 3 now just makes him a lot more fun, a lot more valuable as far as I am concerned. Very happy he has it now. For Trunks, the 2 most significant things here are, 1, hey, he's got a beam assist right now, right? And everyone loves those beam assists. And secondly, his EX Cyclone, that is his spinning move here, has wildly changed up. As you can see here. Definitely didn't used to go that high before, right? Like, he can touch the skybox as it stands now. And you have a lot of control over it. Because on top of the usual left-right stuff, which was always possible, he can now control it high, and he can control it low. Just making so much more possibilities, well, possible, I guess. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of greasy mix-ups and left-right stuff coming from this, because with the amount of air control he has, and hey, once again, because the X bars only cost half a bar now instead of a full bar, even if it was only for mobility and repositioning purposes, to get out of a corner or something, this could be useful. But as far as like the mixes go, man, people are gonna figure some stuff out, to be sure, and Trunks might become one of the new left-right mix-up masters of this game. For Cell, the most significant changes are the rolling crushes. The medium version now comes out just faster, like it has less total duration, so it gets to the overhead part, because once again the elbow does have to be blocked standing, so it gets to that part just a little bit quicker. So in a high stakes situation, the opponent might still be crouch blocking and going from there. The EX version now side switches. Now before you get too carried away, you don't have to change the side of your block. Like, I'm just holding back the whole time, and it just auto-corrects the block for me. It is an overhead still, yes, so if I crouch block it, I still will get smacked, right? As you can see right there. But its use as a side switcher is a bit odd. Maybe someone will figure out the forbidden tech in that in time, but for now, it's just a neat little oddity. For Android 18, the most significant change is the Android 17 EX here. So as before, he'll blast assist if they try to show up, right? And of course, the people underneath it as well. But as always, it costs only half a bar now, so it's a lot better in that regard. And you can detonate them manually. So detonating them manually does take another half bar, just so you know. So if you want to make it work both ways, it will be a full bar. But as it stands, you know, you couldn't use them really against a person with no assist left, so it's just another option, right? And of course, you can just make them go and figure out new block strings, new pressure, all that kind of fun stuff with it. Now, since he is cheaper, though, if you call your own assist, he will go away. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, I expect this to become a very big part of Android 18's game plan going on in the future. There's a lot of interesting stuff you can do with it. For Gotenks, the biggest change here is canceling. So for Dynamite Kick and for Miracle Super Punch, they can both be cancelled into each other whenever, even on whiff. So I can do punches here and go right into my Dynamite Kick, and conversely, I can go right into my Dynamite Kick and go right into punches, or anything else. So I can go Dynamite Kick right into a beam, or Miracle Punches right into a beam as well. So they are all special cancelable by themselves. And of course, you can do it in a combo as well, to be sure, right? But even on whiff, so say you have an unfortunate Dynamite Kick you completely whiffed, hey, maybe go into a beam. Gives them a lot more options to work around in neutral, and be very fun to see how people are going to play around with it. All right, so let's get to Krillin. Krillin, I know a lot of people want a lot of changes, and changes he got. First up here, he says throws 2 rocks, but maybe you don't want that one. You probably want this one here, which is a proper beam. Beam assist being always very valuable and very worthwhile to get. Of course, that's not the only changes. One, Solar Flare. So Solar Flare has a follow-up now if it actually hits, so before it just did no damage. But you can actually get this follow-up. Now, it is a side switcher, and say for whatever reason, if you don't want it, if you hold the button, he doesn't do the follow-up, right? So you have complete control if he does the follow-up or not. Now, the rocks. The rocks are a lot more useful now, as rocks cannot be super dashed. So if you try to super dash it, you just get bonked on the head like the boulder it is. So for especially in like the corner and stuff, like trying to do rocks on people's wake ups and stuff, they can't just like homing dash for free out of it anymore. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that goes. Speaking of rock is its own input. It's down, down, and a button now. So rocks and senzu beans are no longer a shared input, so you can always get the one you actually want. So that is also very useful. Majin Buu, I feel, got a lot out of this patch. Majin Buu, yes, he had some fuzzy setups other characters couldn't do, and yeah, he lost them, but I think this more makes up for it, because he plays more like a normal character now. First up, just assist-wise, definitely a big winner, because he got the fat toss as the assist, and yo, that's a really, really good one. Stuff like his stand medium, you can now go down medium to stand medium, just like a normal character, right? He could never do this before. So just something like this was completely off base for him. He could never do it, and now it is, so it makes a lot of combo structure a lot easier to work with, to be sure. Another really big one here is just something as simple as the butt stomp here. Now causes actual sliding knockdown. Before, they could tech the second they hit the ground, right? So he had no real pressure afterwards if he didn't have an assist to call him the fat toss, right? And speaking of which, because it is a sliding knockdown, Fat Toss actually very easily covers like all options on Wake Up. So he's going to be a monster for pressure in the corner, just to let you know. He's got some options to work with. Now, he did eat a bit of a nerf here. EX Butt Stomp here doesn't quite go as far as it used to. Once again, because EX moves, well, they cost half a bar, right? And this would definitely be one of the more spammable moves, especially because, you know, it goes right into Fat Toss now, right? So they wanted to tone it down a little bit, and I guess that's fair enough. And also his level 3. His level 3 basically just does more damage. It was one of the, if not the lowest damaging level 3, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's definitely one of the lower damaging level 3s. So now it just has a little bit of more damage to work with, right? But between just, you know, normal combo structure working, real sliding knockdowns, and he gets a lot of pressure off a sliding knockdown thanks to Fat Toss being such a good move. Yeah, I think this is going to work out just fine for Majin Buu. For Nappa, the big changes here in the story is basically he has 2 new alternates on his level 1 and level 3 super. So the level 1 super, you know, the old Fingers of Doom here, it never quite went full screen. But if you hold it, it will, and also changes the knockback. So if you hit them with the held version, they move towards you, versus the normal version, they just go straight up, right? So this might help with like Spirit Bomb setups and stuff for base form Goku as well. And the level 3, so if you do the level 3 as normal, hey, he does the mouth beam and all that kind of stuff, right? But if you hold it, it does change. So if you hold it, it causes a float state, as you can see here. And you can do a lot of stuff from this float state. Not the least of which is like, hey, you can totally combo afterwards, right? Also, with the more meter available to us, this move is special cancelable, the hit itself. So I can cancel the hit into like EX Cyberman and go from there. So a lot of new Cyberman combo routes are definitely going to be totally possible. For adult Gohan, the big change here is once again EX legs, just like his younger self. So it got some nerfs here, less damage, less block stun, more recovery. But basically, long story short, it's still plus on block. It's +1. So in this kind of situation, you hit jump L right away. It can't be challenged other than by blocking or reflect. And once again, it costs only half a bar now, right? So that's the thing. Maybe it's a little worse in the end, but it is eminently more spammable than it was before. And I think that's very well worth the trade. For Blue Goku, I guess the big thing here is finally his assist, right? Much maligned, to be sure. The assist now ground bounces, so he can actually easily combo afterwards. It not really having too much combo potential is always why it was basically a big black mark against the character, right? But now with that and obviously multiple assists, hopefully that'll make a lot of people very happy. Also, while he doesn't actually have too much in the way changes, his grabs all have more range. And his medium and EX grabs, the ones where he teleports forward, have even more range yet on top of that. Like, so the move teleports further and the grab has more range. So as it stood before, like you could literally, like if he was like trying to tick throw into it or something, you could just literally walk out of it. Like he would teleport and you could just walk out and it would miss and then you could punch him, right? So now that's no longer a thing. Now once again, doesn't have a lot of changes. Like EX elbow, the bounce is a bit different, a little bit easier to work with, right? But with the assist changing, I think that'll definitely remove the black mark of what people think about him. He's always been one of the better characters people don't really talk about, and hopefully he'll finally find his place in the game. For Blue Vegeta, honestly, he can use a lot more than he got. But hey, we'll have more balance patches in the future. First up here is grabs, the dunks. They have better knockdown time, so the enemy's on the ground longer than they were before. And they actually start up a little bit quicker here. Not a lot quicker, but they do hit earlier on than they used to. I suppose one of the most significant changes here is actually just the Big Bang Attack Assist. The amount of hit stun it has now is way more than it had before, right? So in terms of hit confirms and all that kind of stuff, it's going to be a lot easier to use. So Beerus got some interesting changes here. First of which here, the down light into the auto combo. So the auto combo, his stand lights had very bad range for a very long time, right? And before, if you wanted to go down light into auto combo, the first hit could miss, and then hey, you just lost your combo, right? Well, now, no longer. It just works no longer, right? So this is a true two-hit combo, despite the fact I am totally whiffing a move in between. So the hit stun on the down light, and in conjunction with the LL just being better, this now makes it work as a combo. So you can actually light poke from the range of the move, and still be able to confirm into a combo from there. So I think that's very neat. Also, down S, this is one of the ways he generates orbs, right? So down S can now cancel into itself 3 times. So you can make 3 orbs all at once. On top of the fact, hey, orbs do more damage and are just better all in all. You can still homing dash an orb, yes, sure, but hey, it is what it is. At least they do more damage. But yeah, so if you just need a quick way to get orbs on the screen, and more than one versus, doing the big ol' sixer here and being stuck in the hit stun, or rather, being stuck in the animation for a very long time, hey, you can sneeze away the day and get some orbs. For Beerus, all the dunks now do the ground bounce, making them a lot easier to follow up with a certain type of assist, and just going from there. The EX version has a higher bounce than it usually does, and you can totally work from that with mid-screen combos. So I can do this, dash forward and recombo from there, right? So the dunks just are better as they stand. So while Beerus didn't get a massive rework or nothing, things are definitely looking up for Beerus, and they are better than they used to be. Goku Black, the 2 biggest changes are these as far as I'm concerned. Stand S now combos into Stand H or Down H. Now I know this seems very basic, and maybe it is, but he literally couldn't do it before. Other characters could easily do it, he could not. So hey, more in line. And Down H now has more hit stun, right? So what you can do now, if you want to really style on people, is it's a lot easier to instant transmission up to the enemy, and just go from there. Now, it was doable before, but the timing was fairly strict. And in doing it this way, you do maintain your homing dash. So for especially certain corner combos and stuff, you can get some pretty silly ideas with it, right? So while it's not massive changes, just 2 nice quality of life changes, and it works. So for Android 21 here, first up, the command grabs, her absorb mechanic. The command grabs themselves are all quicker across the board. So it's a lot easier to catch people with them. Also, they now give a nice sliding knockdown. Before, the enemy could tech the second they hit the ground, and that was it, right? There's no pressure, there's no possible follow-up. And her level 3, grounded level 3, super. If you hit it now, you get all 4 of your absorb slot filled instantly. As you can see right now, I got them all right now. I don't need to do 4 different command grabs or whatever. I'm loaded up on everything. As you can see, very easy, right? So there's actually another side benefit to this. Obviously, you get the 4 moves and you can burn them and all that kind of stuff, right? But once again, EX moves only cost half a bar now. And her EX Fireball, if you're unaware how the mechanic works, the more moves you have absorbed, EX Fireball gets fed faster, bigger, better, right? Have a gander. Hey, pretty good move, right? So even if you don't want to use the absorb mechanic moves as they stand, say you're not comfortable with them or whatever, let it be known for half a bar, you got the single best projectile in the game lined up, right? So I think these changes are very fun and very interesting, and they should work very well for Android 21. For base form Goku, there's changes. Like, grabs are a little better. You can spam beams better than you could before. But as far as I'm concerned, there's only one real story here, and this is the assist. So his new B-type assist is he charges the Spirit Bomb, and have a gander at the super bar below there. So every time he does this, he gives you 75% of a bar. And that's ridiculous. Also, it keeps the Spirit Bomb charges, right? So, hey, look at that. I didn't have to charge it because it charges the assist, right? So if you charge it once, you'll get like a level 1. If you do it 3 times, you'll get the level 3, and you just all points in between, right? It's a wacky assist, and it gives so much bar. I can easily see whole teams being built around this, especially if you're say, a Team Gohan player or something, and just want to spam those EX legs forever. Yo, he will give you the juice to make sure you never run out of EX legs energy. So yeah, once again, he's got changes, sure, but to me, this is easily, far and away, the most significant of changes. For base form Vegeta, he has a new way to alter his base ki blast in the air. If you just hold straight up, he will shoot it at a different angle than the usual one. Now that said, the angle's a lot worse. He's got one of the best base ki blasts in the game thanks to this very aggressive forward hitting angle. And I'm sure there's cases where you want it to be a lot closer, but overall not too big of a deal. More significant, however, is the grab. So this is where he kind of flings you up in the air. Now, as you might notice, the grab doesn't do damage by itself, right? But now if you super afterwards, you will do more damage. So say I do a very basic combo here just to showcase this here. Alright, here we are. I'm going to level 1 afterwards. So 4,410 damage, right? So now we're going to do the exact same combo as before. And we're just going to sneak the grab in there. That's all the difference there is, right? And hey, what do you know what? More damage. So obviously, as you can tell, it's not a world's more damage, but still more damage is more damage. So hey, might as well. So for Broly, one of the most significant changes here is the medium Lariat Express. So what is new here is basically the enemy is in more hit stun than they used to be, meaning you can now get his delay level 3 off of it and then just go from there, right? So just quick example here, baby example. Hey, that's Half-Life right there without getting more complex. So before, it only worked off the EX one, right? The EX one had enough hit stun to get the delayed level 3, but not the normal medium one. Now both of them do, making any random medium Lariat Express a lot more deadly than it used to be. Besides that, Broly actually got some nerfs, but they're not that big of a deal. Like the minimum scaling on your alternate level 1 is less, so the damage just isn't quite the same. Your shell move here, the anti-projectile move, doesn't quite last as long, but you can technically cancel into itself now, so I guess that's technically a buff. As far as assists go, though, he definitely won out. He has a Vegeta-style assist now, which is very good. And he has an armored C-type assist. Other C-type assists are not armored, I'll tell you that right now. So he definitely won out when it comes to assists. For Bardock, the only real big change is, hey, he got a new assist. The Tyrant Lancer as an assist, and it's probably bugged. But before we talk about that, yeah, it has a ton of hit stun. Very easy combo afterwards. Has a ton of block stun, way more than usual. That's good. And it also hits from full screen, which I don't think is intentional. I think they got confused somewhere along the line, thought it was a C-type assist rather than a B-type assist. For characters that have spammy Ki Blast, you can literally just spammy Ki Blast, hit confirm into Bardock, and go from there. So we'll see. But otherwise, it's contention for best new assist to be sure, and we'll see if that was fully intended or not. For Vegito, I guess the two big stories are this. So first up here, the Jump S, this guy here, has more untech time, meaning basically it causes more hit stun. So potentially new combo routes will be opened up that were not possible before. And his assist. His assist was always never the best, right? Let's just put it that way to be nice here. But the assist has more hit stun now. It happens faster. It has a better hitbox. And it's just wildly better all around. Like, this is one of the most made-over assists in the game, and it just, it's good now. Now, his alternate assists, they're not bad either. Like, they work, right? That's fine. But this is definitely one of the most rehabbed assists in the game, and it's infinitely more useful. For Android 17, one of the nice little quality of life changes he got. He is a character with a very short range stand light. So now, if you go for down light and go into your auto combo, the second hit will connect even if the stand light whiffs. So it basically makes you more incentivized to use this down light, as you can be assured that if you actually get your hits, you will get your hits, right? And also, his wall bounces can now be canceled into each other, which can lead to some weird stuff. If you're a fan of this style of mobility for 17, oh, you can do it twice as much now. So perhaps you'll have a lot of fun with that. Now on to Jiren. One of his bigger changes here is Stand S, his base projectile, basic key blast. Some factors about it have changed here. So less startup, increase the opponent's hit stop on hit here. So that's before like they can animate or do anything. Now it is more recovery, yes, but it's a lot easier to use in combos. And for example here, hey, we can just go right into the H grab, right? So that is pretty handy. And of course from there, you know, get all sorts of combo stuff and all that going on. Also his jumping down heavy. Jumping down heavy now actually works with Z changes. So before, if I tried something like that, there is a very strong possibility I would just whiff the move depending on the startup of the super. And now it plays a lot more friendly with that kind of stuff. So if you're looking to hard tag Jiren out after a combo with a stomp, then this is a perfect way to do it now. Quarter circle forward series, they all do just a little bit more hit stop. They work a lot better in combos, leading to more damage overall. His quarter circle back series, the counters, they all do more damage as well. So we're trying to get more damage in the Jiren. Jiren's projectile counter can counter assists, as you can see here. Still has a fatal flaw though, unfortunately. Like yes, hey, I absolutely can counter the assist, and the enemy can still vanish out of it for free. So not quite getting rid of that key weakness, which kind of stinks, but hey, what it is what it is, right? Jiren definitely can use a bit more love than what he got, but once again, there will be more balance patches in the future. It's a decent start, yes, but hopefully he gets more in the end. So Videl, the most interesting change to me is her forward heavy, because the forward heavy is now straight up immune to basic key blast. So if you know someone who's spamming a lot of basic key blasts or just filling the screen with a lot of garbage, she can easily circumvent all of it. Unlike some other moves like this here, the key blasts don't even bounce off. She's just straight up dodging them, I guess. Now, just so you know, that is basic key blasts only. Bigger fireballs, bigger projectiles, you're going to get your head clocked in. But as it stands, you know, basic key blasts are way faster than other types of projectiles, right? So if you're just looking to circumvent a minefield of garbage, hey, this is a really good way to do it now. The only person to really have something like that before was Cooler. Now she has something like it. Ginyu has something like it. I'm happy they're giving more ability for characters to circumvent a lot of projectile heavy play. So for GT Goku, one of the first stories here to tell is the auto combo. Definitely not quite what it used to be, right? Still usable to be sure, right? But definitely does not quite travel the same distance it used to. One fun nerf I like here, EX Flash Fist has decreased the travel distance. Doesn't look very decreased to me, I'll tell you that. But the big story here, however, is the level 3 Spirit Bomb change. So it does do a little bit less damage, and the big story here, no hard knockdown anymore. You can tech the second you hit the ground. Now that said, like the hard knockdown is gone, yes, but the everything else is kind of still what it is, right? You can still follow up in DR after. You can still do a level 1 super and get unscaled damage afterwards. Like, you still get a lot of offense, right? But as far as like, you know, left, right, weird mix up, you know, post knockdown pressure stuff and all that, you don't get that anymore. You still get a ridiculous amount of options offensively. Yes, like you can still DR after the fact and all that, but you no longer get the mix up with it. So it's still really good. And yo, spoiler, he's still one of the best characters in the game, but that has been toned down just a little bit. Janemba got some fun changes here. First up, the S attacks, his Key Blast, all faster across the board. That's stand S, down S, And jump S, all better, faster just across the board and neutral. That's great. The assist now does 4 hits instead of 2 hits, so a lot more time to hit confirm various aspects of it. That's really good. These sword normals all recover a lot quicker. So you can return to block or move or whatever you're going to do a lot faster than you did before. Also very nice change. The Hellgate. Hellgate bounces off walls now. Look at that. It's like Pong. So before, it automatically exploded if it hit the corner. And now, you can detonate it whenever you want. So you have a lot more control over the matter than you did before. Versus the enemy always knew it was going to explode in the corner. So they could just block and not have to worry about it, right? So now since it bounces off the walls, it's just going to be a lot more interesting to work with. So it isn't down L, hit slow like what we all want for Janemba. Maybe one day we'll get there. But yeah, just good quality of life across the board. It's not every single change. Once again, check the patch notes if you want to see every single change. But yeah, just good quality of life stuff. And just real quick, just to mention them, Gogeta and Broly honestly didn't get too much. Dragon Ball Super Broly it is. Gogeta's jumping H is a little bit faster, and Broly's down light reaches a little bit further than it did before. And they're basically unchanged. Once again, these are the 2 newest characters in the game, so I guess they didn't want to mess with them too much. And there you have it. So those are some of the really big things happening in the Season 3 patch, from system level stuff to character stuff. Now, once again, I didn't cover every single character, every single change, because we don't need another 2-hour-long video. If you want to see the entirety of the patch notes, check the end of the video. It'll be linked there. If you want to see every single new assist, also check the video at the end. It'll be right there for you. So everything is covered, and these are just some of my highlights. Season 3 is going to be fantastic. Man, it's just a lot of stuff. And we're going to be unpacking and dissecting this stuff for a long, long time to come. But anyways, my friends, that's the end of this video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Dragon Ball.